just, I remember our moms, Annie, Lori, and my mom, and then Nancy and I drove up together. And I remember we put stuff in our cabin, and then we ended up just standing on the beach, and our moms were saying goodbye, and they were crying, and we were kind of weepy. And, it's just Nancy and I going, what are we doing? It's I'd been like at her grandma's farm for a couple of weeks, but never like away. So that was kind of.
Was Lori there?
Lori, I think, was already there. We hadn't seen her yet. Like she had
Okay.
gone up for maybe some preseason stuff.
Okay.
So she was there, which was good because
Yeah.
she was like
But
our link.
At this point where you were being left there, like I would imagine she was there to say it's going to be okay. Like,
Yeah, we did see her a little bit later, and she was like, "You guys are gonna have so much fun." And
yeah,
are you in touch with Nancy now?
Off and on, we're Facebook friends, and we've gone to different. Sadly, her mom's passing and her dad's funeral, and
when's the last time you talked with her?
Probably 2 years ago, I'm guessing. No, it was about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I was supposed to be there. I had planned to be there for a long,
yeah, it was just last July, I guess, wasn't it? 2024. Okay.
On the 4th. And I had there was an event I committed to like 4 months before that I couldn't bring. I found out that my dad was going to go, and when Dad said he was going to go, and he told me you were one of the first people that he connected with, Dawn.
Yeah, it was so good to see him.
Yeah, and I felt so much better about the fact that
well, I think we have Nancy on audio. Maybe we can get her on video too.
Really, Nancy?
Hi, Dawn. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
How do I show myself here?
I
show off.
I don't know. Be a click of a button or something.
There's a little maybe a camera icon on the bottom.
It is, and it's crossed out like.
Oh, uncross it. Try hitting that. See what happens. I think we might be able to see after that.
Can't detect your camera. Please.
Well, this is a fun surprise.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi.
Exactly how we hoped that would be.
Yeah.
Select camera. I don't know. Let me see. I might have to go back out and come back in.
Do that, but hey, yeah.
Hi. I know you can't see me, but I'm here.
You have a cute little head.
I put Olsen Rubin so you guys knew who I was. Okay, so
we might have just been talking about you. We definitely were just talking.
We definitely were talking.
My ears were burning. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they should have been.
Okay, so I'll go back out. I'll go out and try to come back in.
Try that, and then there's a little camera icon. Maybe hit that.
I see the camera. I see the video, and it says it can't detect my camera, which is really please check the device connection and try again.
All right, try that. Yeah. Either way, we're gonna have a conversation.
We'll get you back on then.
Okay, super. Okay, bye.
This is like a family reunion.
Yes.
There we go.
That's good.
So we're talking about how you got to camp. We talked about your jobs. Did you have a chance to read Dawn's book?
Yes. In fact, I'd started it when I first got it. And then I have like a to be read pile, like mile high. Yeah. So I got reading other things. And then when I got Dawn's email, I thought, oh my goodness, I need to dig in and like finish the book. So
between binging the shows. Yeah.
Then I could.
That's not a requirement or so I appreciate Tom promotes it so much, and I do because was so much part of helping me write it, but in no way do I ever want to have someone feel like, oh, if I didn't, like, the
reason I bring it up is just, did any memories come back to mind?
I actually put a little sticky note on the book. So I don't know if in the book or in an episode you were talking about Scott's truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was in 1980. We got up to camp with that beat up old truck. And I think Alan Alan Hodge either drove it that year or the year after. He had never driven stick before, but he managed to get from Annandale to where I lived in Dover, Delaware. And they picked me up. The back was full of all of our bags of stuff. And then I took over driving because I knew how to drive stick. And we kept switching between Alan and I driving the rest of the way to camp. But I'm sure our parents were like, I hope they make it alive, because that truck is just a beast.
Nancy, we're talking about Scott's truck that they brought up to camp that year. We're chronologically, we could go.
We're skipping around.
Back. Yeah, but you'll have no problem just diving right in and
in. Oh yeah, I remember that though so well. And our parent, we had a.
There you are.
I don't know if they would. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Nancy, Scott's sister, the Scott's sister.
The Scott's sister.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have we ever met Nancy? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
I'm sure we have.
I sure know your brother.
Yeah, Virginia.
I'm sure that you have met me because you were up there all this. Were you? Where did you work?
Boat crew.
Those guys were like so fancy. You know what I mean? The boat crew.
Well,
We didn't associate with the boat crew because
they were just
were so cool. They were so cool.
That's one of those things that turns out to not be true.
They were the coolest. So they
blowing our secret.
Stayed down at the point, and they took all the people skiing and the ski nautiques, and we would get a glimpse of them every now and then.
We were protectors of the end of camp.
Yeah.
We didn't really go down to the point much, truly. I mean, when I was there, we really didn't, because I don't know, I didn't go down to the point much.
It was like another world down there.
It was.
It was like another world.
Yeah.
So Nancy, we've got so much to on it and go forward with, but first of all, like I would feel remiss if we didn't. The fact that you're here and despite how badly I botched our reconnection, that we had that conversation last night.
It was awesome.
Yeah, for whatever reason, thank you for seeing it through, because for whatever reason, I didn't have your cell phone number. And so I thought I would go through Facebook, and I never use this feature, but I am friends with you on Facebook. So I hit call, and then you didn't miss the call or whatever. And then we exchanged messages. I didn't know if I was responding to your cell phone. And then after a while, I'm like, so my point was, we're talking with Dawn next week, and we would love to have you jump on the call because I know how close you were. And then I might have added a couple more cryptic things that I didn't mean to be cryptic. And you were like, is this, you were wise, because with the, people getting hacked and whatever, like, okay, you gave me a quiz question about.
I did, because we had been hacked. Yeah, we had been hacked before, and I gave him a quiz question because I'm like, I don't think this is really Donnie, because he's like urgent. Co-op.
Urgent, right? Because we had Dawn committed to Wednesday.
We're gonna have a meeting, and she didn't tell me what the meeting was, and I'm like, okay, all the things in my school world says
it's like urgent. radar.
Yeah, it's urgent. It's secretive. I'm like, this cannot be for real. This is not.
I use the word secret, yeah, because we're gonna surprise Dawn when you come on.
Yes.
So all right, we worked it out last night finally, because I asked Scott. I should have done in the first place. What is Nancy's cell number? And anyway, so that is just a way to lead up to how here we are.
Amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Nancy, Dawn was telling us about her first experience at camp, getting dropped off, standing by the beach, saying goodbye to your moms. Do you remember that?
I do, because I was 14, and I think Don, you were 14.
You were 14?
We were 14.
It was 79.
Is that about right?
Anyway, I think we were like 15 or 16, but maybe
we were young. We were very young.
Yeah.
And it was our first time away. I think I was 14, and it was our first time away from home, like
both of
summertime home.
For both of you. Okay.
Yes, but our parents were very adventuresome, but they were very protective, of course, But they let us run around the farm and at my grandma's. But I think they felt more comfortable if both of us went together. So
Sure.
yeah, when they dropped us off in the diesel rabbit with the we had a diesel rabbit with a little bubble that was on 2 wheels behind it with our stuff, and yeah, they just
Amazing.
dropped us off, and I worked in the I was in the dining hall and I loved it. I was a dishwasher.
Were you the first girl?
Best summer. What's that?
Were you the first girl?
No, there was two
Oh.
other girls.
Okay, I was thinking you were the first girl to work
Oh
in
my
there.
gosh.
It was
Just
close to
best
being the
time.
first. Just 2
Yeah.
others. It's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was talking to Connor today, and I was telling him we were having this call. My son, who worked at Camp the Woods one summer, and he said, nobody wanted to work at the dish. You had to take rotations. Like people would have to take their turn going up and washing dishes. I was like, oh my gosh, we were breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we loved it. We would see how many bowls we could carry at one time and how many plates, and they were so hot they'd burn our arms, and they'd go through the washer thing and we'd spray each other, and we had the dishwasher people, we had the best time.
Yeah. I could totally see you, Nancy, like having no problem fitting into that environment. Like, I know Scott was younger than
you can have fun digging a hole.
Yeah. Wow.
But it was fun because the people were fun. And then I lived with Dawn, and weren't we in the Three Little Pigs were we in the Three Little Pigs the first time?
No, we were in that cabin next to, it was like an 8-girl cabin.
Yes.
We're going to go through some pictures. I saw little pics.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. No, Nancy, we haven't gone through the pictures yet. So
Okay. So Dawn, I was asking you, you read or you're reading Dawn's book?
Yeah, I did finish, and it was, I was really gripped by it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Actually, it's funny because I had no idea what kind of reception it would get. I would hope that camp staffers or people would, gravitate toward, a book coming out about camp after it hadn't been done in a long time. But when you reached out after I put something out on Facebook and ordered one, and then when Dad went to Annie Laurie's memorial service and said that he saw you there, it was something that you mentioned. And Nancy, before you came on, I think I mentioned to you last night, I had totally wanted to go to that service. And then in February, that was 4th of July. In February, I had committed to something that was going to be on 4th of July, and then I was going to break it until I found out that Dad was going to go. And
it was great. And that was a surprise. I didn't even know. He just walked in, and we were all like, what? And he had no idea he was coming, and that was a long trip.
Well, he didn't even, as soon as he heard about it, he was like, yeah, I'm definitely going. I'm like, oh, okay. And he said it was just beautiful, but he remembers talking to Dawn, and you mentioned something about the book. Anyway, that was.
And Tracy sent me the book. I have not read it all at all myself either, but I'm going to. I haven't retired. I'm still working, so I'm still like, But
there's some scary parts in it.
Is there?
Yes.
Bears?
It didn't happen when we were there. No, not bear.
It is scary.
Serial killer.
No, I think when Connor was there, that it was a serial killer there.
Oh.
Right, not there, but in upstate
New
York.
In the area.
Up in
I think they made a movie out of it.
The manhunt that's going on.
Northern part of Hamilton County. I think we could connect that all. Yeah.
Yes.
So
okay.
But we would get a little spooked about the bears when we would come back from the teepee. Did you work in the teepee, Don?
Yeah, I worked in 82 and 81 and 82, I think.
So closing the teepee, and it would be dark, and then coming home and being like so scared of like the bears, because there were bears up at Boys. What's it called?
Park.
The boys camp.
Boys Park.
Boys Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
They would say, "Oh, there's a bears at Boys Park," and there probably was. I don't know. And
probably were until they heard about the rock fights that were going on.
Yeah.
But
Maybe that's how it started. Maybe they started by throwing at bears and it turned into throwing at each other. I don't know.
we were scared of the bears, but then we'd go drive to the dump to watch the bears.
I
So
know, right?
that wasn't too smart, probably.
But that first summer was just so great. It was so you know, being on our own in that cabin with the 8 girls, everybody got along really well, which is amazing. And Carolyn was in charge of the staff, right? Was Carolyn in charge of the staff? On Sunday nights we would have to meet and
yes,
and they would talk about
so.
you know, the staff. And but that was such a great summer, the first one. And of course being with Dawn was awesome. We loved it. I remember doing laundry was such a thing. You know what I mean? Like,
and we had to
laundry.
drag our big bags all the way down to the laundromat.
I'm sure they still do that now. I'm sure they still do that now down to the laundromat, right? All the staffers.
No, I don't know what they do. Yeah, I don't know. Tom, did you ever do laundry? And I don't remember you ever do
Laundry?
Did you guys do laundry? How did you just probably washed it off in the lake?
Yeah.
I'm thinking midsummer, I probably drove back to Syracuse, had my mom do it, and then
then came back.
We had to get coins from the office and then go wash our laundry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an ordeal.
Yeah. Oh, and Dawn and I were on an exercise kick, not that summer, but when we moved over with Ellen on the.
Oh yeah.
And we would run. We would run down to the loop and then run back up. I don't know how far that was, but that's pretty good. Going down was easy, but then coming back was not so easy.
Mm-hmm.
A loop? Yeah, that was pretty good. That had to be a good couple miles, I would think.
Yeah.
We went all the way to Beaver Dam.
We were on a kick there running for a little bit.
I feel like we tried to go around the lake once, maybe, but
maybe with a bicycle.
Yeah.
I tried that too. Made a wrong turn and went, what is it, Wells down there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was telling Donnie that I went to Wells with Lois too, and on a bike, and that was fun.
Lois Stevenson. Oh yeah.
Mm.
It's fun going down. It is not fun climbing that hill.
We talked about that last night, Nancy.
So true.
Yeah. You don't realize because it's so gradual. You're just going and going. You're coasting, like, but you're actually going downhill just a little bit for 8 miles, and when you come back, you're like. You feel
it is not fun, I can tell you.
Yeah. So Tom, I know you had some things to ask you, but I darn it, I wanted to bring up Alan's episode where he talked about going on stage, but and how off guard he felt. So Dawn, we kind of talked about it a little bit before Nancy came on, but so you find yourself on rec staff. And maybe on the surface, it feels like, okay, yeah, I can organize a staff to handle these rec staff events. But, oh, yeah, by the way, every morning you have to go on stage during chapel and talk about the events.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, like, what was that?
Yeah, I was hoping that somehow, some way that would change in the job description. Like, Jim was a natural, like he can just ham it up, and I thought maybe they'll just like not make me do that or something, but they did. But yeah, I managed to do it, and I would not want to get back up there because that's a big auditorium. Yeah,
it's a big but too. Like when you're at camp, like so much of the gravitation is toward, you got the huge Sunday service and the Sunday night, and then that's where everyone comes, all the guests and staff are kind of supposed to be there every day. And then the stage, it just has this
like up front
about it, right? And then you're gonna go up there and be there and feel like you have to carry on this, like you
persona.
Said, sure, right?
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes, I'd almost just roll out of bed. I guess I would go to breakfast, but at camp, you don't really care what you look like per se. Yeah. Everybody's just working and doing their stuff, and it was Yeah, I would like to see pictures of what I look like. Probably.
But everything after that experience gets easier.
Yeah.
When you stand in front of 500 plus people and have to talk, you know, any group smaller than that is so much easier. I did that the third summer I was there, and then I went to college and had to do speech class in front of 25 people. That
So it
was
was like
No
easiest
problem.
class I
P6P.
ever took. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Nancy missed that summer.
I
She's
did.
probably working in
I-
Alaska or something.
I did. I don't know if that was when. Probably I did couple summers in Alaska. So yeah, I did miss that because I was in. I did do 3 or 4 summers. I did dishes, and then I did Woodlands waitress for 2 years, and then housekeeping.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Woodlands waitresses is also like a pretty public thing because you know, like my grandfather, that was his pride and joy. Woodlands to be like where people that wanted to pay for it.
Oh yeah, because
that
the
experience.
Johnson and Johnson guy, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But he was there, and
Yep.
oh my gosh, I forget the guy who was the waiter with us, but he was a shorter guy, but he was had a lot of energy. Trudy something was a waitress with me too. Trudy, you probably know her. She ran through the whole. And
Jensen or
Yeah,
something?
and now Zimmerman, right?
yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah.
Trudy, she was a waitress with me too,
Nicely.
and someone else, and Carolyn was in charge of us.
Yep.
And I forget who the guy was, but he was very popular. Everybody knew who he was. I
Whoever
was
it
not
was.
so much. I was not so much. But
Well, yeah, but you made that leap from the dish room to all of a sudden, having to, Don said nobody cared what we wore then, but you had to care what
I
you
know we had. I
wore
think
at
I wore that
Woodlands
same
for a night.
skirt every. I wore that same skirt every Sunday. I'm sure because we didn't bring a lot of clothes.
No.
Do laundry.
Yeah.
They should have
Don,
provided
who was the guy in commissary? Such a nice guy, tall, big guy, big guy. Very tall.
Are you talking about Earl? Or what did
No.
Earl do?
Earl Johnson might have been there. He was probably in the dish room. I would plead for anyone
He
watching
was
there.
he would
Comment.
order the food. He would be in the back. He was in charge of the commissary.
You're talking Ken Reed?
Ken Reed was up on the hill.
Oh,
Yeah, he was on the hill. Henry?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
No, Ken Reed.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ken Reed. Ken loved Ken,
Okay.
but he worked with Ken. He was a staffer like us. And then Stroop was the one I was thinking about. What's
Tim.
Tim?
Tim?
Yeah, I have a
pic.
I gave a picture of him.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Oh, do we?
I think there was one on the beach, maybe.
I think so.
That he was in. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had some great camp pictures, but we lost our house in the Hurricane Ian down here, and they all got wet. So I tried to take a picture of a few, but who knows where they are? I just kept taking them on pictures on my on my phone.
We didn't ask you, Nancy, where are we calling you from?
Oh, I'm down in Naples, Florida.
Naples. Very nice. Okay.
I Scott and Tracy told me, that you really got hit hard. I didn't realize that, you lost possessions like that,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All of it. All of it. We get to start over, but it's okay. All that stuff, we don't have to move a lot. We're going to go probably stay. Our plan is to move to the farm, which is kind of funny.
Really?
To the farm in Virginia. Yeah.
Really? We're going to be an hour away?
Come on up to Virginia. Come on.
Yeah. Tom, where are you?
I'm between Front Royal and Winchester in Virginia.
Oh my gosh, you're a Virginian too?
I told you, Virginia. We're bringing in the varsity for Virginia.
Woo-hoo.
I'm a newbie.
Awesome.
I've only been here less than 2 years, but yeah, I love it here. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we run out of time with you, I'm going to ask one more question and then a couple of rapid fire ones back and forth.
Okay.
So Don's book, after that, or after binging some of the episodes, Don, did you think of anybody that you'd like to reconnect with? We are
Well,
looking
obviously
at
Nancy,
Yeah.
which already happened.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Beth Markel again.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she and I were roommates in '84. Just her and Lynn Copeland and I roomed together. And Lynn Copeland was my roommate in college. She lives in Salem right now, Virginia, but I haven't seen her in like years. So, yeah, you guys talk about a lot of reunions that go on, and it just sounds like a lot of fun. I think it would be easy to reconnect with anybody just to talk about camp stuff.
Talked about them in person, but they haven't really happened yet in person.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet Beth would do it.
She would be a perfect candidate to do it, and I feel like I'm going to keep leaning on her. Like, do this. She'll be watching this, but I'll.
Beth and Jimmy, get on it.
Yep.
Get on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy, people that you'd like to reconnect with?
Well, Dawn.
We did.
Dawn's like family.
I fumbled it, but here we are. Oh,
Dawn. You guys. I'll have to think about it.
Yeah, you can think about that. All right, real quick.
But Beth would be great because Beth was also friends with Scott, and Beth came to Scott's high school graduation, and she drove down to Virginia to the graduation. So Beth's been intertwined into a lot of people's lives for sure.
Yeah, Beth told me a funny story about the truck, Dawn, that you brought up, that Scott brought up, and I remember it in '84. You remember
the Bronco?
3 on the tree. No, it was the.
No, it was like a Chevy truck or something.
It was
like a
pickup truck, yeah. And
not the Bronco we took on spring break.
Oh, that was the next year.
Okay.
Blazer, I think. Yeah, but
Blazer.
Yeah,
Blazer.
Pickup truck that it was temperamental to start, and he once lent it to her to drive down to Amsterdam to go to a dinner at the restaurant there that anyway, I'll think of it, but it was a nice restaurant, kind of a seafood place. And she got down there okay, but when dinner was over, apparently she tried to start it, it wouldn't start. And so she had to go back into the restaurant. Rain Dancer was the name of the restaurant. And called camp, and they had to find him. And again, no cell phones. They had called the office. They had to find Scott, and he came, and she's like, I'm stuck here. I can't start it. And he was like, well, you gotta, in the glove box, there's a screwdriver, and you open the hood, and you take the screwdriver, and you put it here, and have somebody start it while you open the, and then it worked. But she said she was wearing like nice clothes, and you have to hear the story from her, but yeah, great story about the truck.
Nancy, I have so many stories about your brother.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Me too.
Yeah, I can't even
we're
imagine.
building up to having Scott on. I can promise you. It's just
it's gotta happen. Yeah.
Oh, totally. This will help. So
rapid fire. Nate, Dawn, favorite camp location or landmark?
The beach in front of the teepee.
Beachfront. Nancy, favorite camp location or landmark?
Same thing, the dock, right? We would go sit on the dock at night, sit out there and talk. And
we swam out to the dock at night.
At night.
Yes.
And then also another memory is we would call our parents on Sunday at the payphone.
Wigwam. Yeah.
Wigwam.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last question from that list. Do you have any good prank stories?
Well, the bell, they were always messing with the bell, but I think that was not us, but they were always messing with the bell so it wouldn't ring.
Right.
That's awesome.
I remember sneaking up and getting a couple of those milk crates from that wasn't a prank. That was just, we needed milk crates to put stuff in.
Milk crates.
So you were little juvenile thieves.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would decorate people's, I can't think of really.
We do inside of the cabin with
We
teepee.
did, like toilet paper inside the toilet, inside the cabin.
Yep.
That's right.
That's devious. That's
I know. I know we're almost out of time, but I had one of the life-changing experiences for me was, well, Jesus, of course, at Camp of the Woods became real to me.
nice.
But also, it was really like that was the sealer, the deal, like
Yeah.
being in that little bubble, being around other Christians, like-minded people that really like opened my eyes from Northern Virginia, when I was in public school and everything like that. So
Yeah.
it became so real to me. But also when I was there and I was working as, I think I was housekeeping, someone almost drowned in the pool at Woodlands, and I was the first person there and jumped in and pulled her out of the water and started CPR on her. I didn't do it right, but it was very traumatic, but then very good. She did live, but as a kid, that's really like a whoa,
Yes.
And then seeing her walking around at camp like a week later or something, it was like a little eerie because she was like discolored, because of the drown. She wasn't breathing. It was very like a traumatic thing that turned out good. But I remember it very well because of, being there and my age, how when you're so young, stuff like that really sticks with you.
I remember, I've heard that story. I didn't know the details, but
yeah,
basically, just to go back to it, you were in Woodlands for whatever reason.
I think I was housekeeping.
Okay.
And then I was working in housekeeping and like a sub or something because I was at Wichita usually, and I was in the housekeeping. And then that pool is so isolated there and so someone started yelling and I went in and she was a lady and she was submerged in the deep end. She was at the bottom of the pool.
Oh.
So I jumped in and I remember like touching her, feeling like, oh my gosh, like, is she alive? And then bringing her to the service and like some of it's like still like, oh, and then pulling her to the side and her body wasn't even out of the pool. She was like halfway out of the pool, but we got her out of the pool and then I started CPR, but I needed to tilt her head a little bit more back, like when you learn CPR, if you don't have their head tilted back, I was just blowing air in her stomach instead of in her lungs. And so then the fire department came and then they continued CPR and then she got sick and started to breathe. So it was, but I remember it being like a very, like I can remember it well.
You don't forget something like that.
It was so scary.
Yeah, 1 minute you're walking down the hall.
Yes.
And then
you're in a pool saving someone.
Yeah, and not really knowing what you're doing, but you're trying to remember. Yeah, okay, you want their nose, and I was just blowing air in her stomach instead of into her lungs because I didn't. But now I know. I'm probably a professional now. Now I know you need to tilt their head all the way back so that the air goes into their lungs. And so, but she lived, but she was in the hospital for a little bit, and she did come back to camp, and that was like a little spooky when I saw her walking around because I had seen her felt like not alive,
Yeah.
So that was a big camp story for me too. I found Jesus before that though. I didn't find, but that was I think that was my last summer.
Can I add on to what Nancy said about finding Jesus?
Yeah.
I think she and I both, that first week of camp, when we heard the message about a personal relationship with Jesus, I was just blown away. I mean, I grew up going to church, thought I was a Christian, did everything, followed all the rules. But that was when it really became real. And I remember praying in our cabin with the other 6 girls. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, changed my life.
It is amazing because you would hear that message in a scheduled setting, and it would be easy to think that with all that camp had to offer, when you left that setting at the auditorium,
Mm-hmm.
partook in, whether it was your responsibilities, your job, or other recreation or socialization, that what you heard could have faded.
Yeah.
The fact that you just, said that it resonated so much to you, that and to the girls in your cabin, that you would have remembered it and prayed about it,
Acted on it.
acted on
Mm-hmm.
it with whatever time elapsed from the point that you heard it. Just must have been so powerful that you remember it to this day. That's just
Yeah, it was life changing. And I don't know what I did for writing my testimony on my application the first year. You know, we had to
was
give our
enough.
testimony. I
Yeah.
guess I said, I go to church every week.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
baseline.
I believe in God.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah, it definitely became real.
Wow.
And it became like our own. And I think a lot of it is because we were there on our own too. Like we were away from our parents, away from everything. And we were, even though we had bosses, we were still, independent. And then so we made that independent choice. And then those that are around us we would pray at night, and we would have Christian
devotions,
radio on, and we would like, God was like our friend. We got to know Jesus as a friend, and like other people talked about him too. So you really were reinforced. That's why to me it was like such a bubble, because everybody, most people had knowledge of what Jesus was and who Jesus was, but then they were walking it and practicing it. And then when things would happen in their life, you could watch people and watch how Jesus worked in them. And that was so powerful. That's why it was like a little bubble. Then we came back to, we were up on the mountaintop, and then we came back to Northern Virginia and all, and that's why it was so important at that age, our age.
My mom even this past week said it really changed the trajectory of our family unit. When I came back on fire, we ended up switching to a different church that was more gospel preaching, Bible believing, and it made a huge difference in our whole family.
See, and Don, I think that's something that doesn't necessarily come out when we talk to folks that we'll try and draw out in the future, but the ripple effect that camp has outside its borders is huge. Because you think about the number of people who've been on staff over the 125 years, and the number of people who have stories just like Dawn's, where this is where they stepped into the kingdom, go home, and it changes everybody around them. That's incredible.
And that's why I wanted it for my son, and probably why my grandfather and my grandmother went there, and then my dad and my uncle, and then Aunt Doris and her kids. And I think like we want them to have what we had, it's such a special place. And then we had our cousins go. We were trying to get everybody to go. Karen McCormick. Karen McCormick. We were trying to get everybody to come. And even now, like down here in Naples, when a kid is troubled, I work as a school counselor, and they're like, we got to get him out of this environment. Not trouble, but like they need camp. It's like, you should apply to this little camp up in upstate New York, And so it really does have even though it's like traditional, like tradition as in passed down, like, oh, my grandfather went there, my dad, like family, but it's also that the faith foundation is so great.
Totally used by God. Dawn, I appreciate you sharing that. That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to throw those pictures up?
This is
the blast from the past.
This is happening right now.
Okay.
All right.